So we are going to do a little cake shop design, and we're going to do this little bad boy here. I'm going to show you how to do a cupcake. The first thing we need to do is we need to paint the background. We're going to use some kind of pastel color for the background. And then what I have done is I've just used a matte top coat over the top of this. However, saying that, you could go straight on. If you were doing this on a client, you could go straight on and do just do it on an inhibition there. So you don't need to really worry about that top coat. So I'm going to do a little pink background. Now I'm using a combination of Legrand gel and regular gel paint. So we've got, just mainly because I haven't got colours available. So I'm just doing a mixture because we're actually going to do the background matte anyway. And we're just going to add some of the white as well. Now the whole point of this is that you use the brush to create the texture. What we don't want to do is spend a long time doing the artwork. So I'm just going to do the actual cupcake design, or the cupcake, the actual cup, I suppose. Just get that shape in, which is this iconic shape. We're going to use the darker colour first and then go in with the lighter colour. Just going to go a little bit rounder at the bottom and then up. Okay, so not a straight bottom. Now the idea is that we can do this quite quickly and not take a long time, which means that your clients can enjoy this as well. So I'm just going to come in and I'm using my brush to create those cupcake, the little, what is it, the ruffles that you have in the cake cup. I don't know what they're called because I am not a cake maker. Oh, we're just going to go. Now, the way to get some really cool sort of inspiration, I just put cupcakes into Pinterest and then just look at the drawn designs. Don't look at nail art. Whatever you do, do not put nail art in Pinterest because you're just going to come up with other people's versions of actual cupcakes. But what you want to do is come up with your own version. So we're just going to come in again. Can you see how I'm already creating those little lines? I just want to get some more shadow in here. I'm going straight in from the pot, straight into the thing, because I want those grooves, so I don't want it to be smooth. So I'm using my brush to create the grooves. Now I need to create shadow underneath because the chocolate sponge is actually going to create shadow underneath this section here. So I do need to have some shadow underneath the chocolate sponge. So it's important that you think about these little things. Now I'm going to come in with some white, I think. Where is my palette? I'm going to use a palette and a little bit of white. This is the white gel paint, but you could use Legrand. And we're just going to pull that down. So it's just got a little bit of highlight. Now, if you're doing some kind of reality art and you were doing this for something other than your salon work, then of course you want to do this a little bit differently. But I want to save a time, so I just want to get these lines in without having to really fiddle too much with shadow and shade. And then we're just going to create. Now you're actually just going to have fun with this. Remember that shadow bit there? We want to maintain that. So we're just going to have that cake just flopping over the sides like this. Going on. So let's just add some of this whip. Now this is the fun part. You are going to just use the gel, like really use it, and actually just come backwards and forwards. See how I'm making indentations here because I want that gel to create the shape. So let's come in with some lighter There we go. And we just sort of whoosh it all together. Now, I want to add a little bit of shadow. So I'm not sure about the dark green yet, but I'm just going to come in with this darker blue. It just adds shadow underneath these lighter parts. Remember, we're coming back in with the white later. You just add a little bit of this dark green. Tiny, tiny amount, literally, as an additional line of shadow. So not black. So I've not put this under the lamp. I'm actually using the gel to create the shape that I want, the whip, as it were. All right, I'm happy with that. I'm going to pop that straight under the lamp. We need to actually now push everything in the background. So we're going to do that with our Mat and Go. Let me clear some space so you can see what I'm actually doing. Right, so we're now going to we're now going to do a Mat and Go top coat. We're just going to add this straight over the top. This will push everything in the background, and then we'll add more frosting onto the cupcake on top. So I'm using Le Grand gel. So Le Grand gel has that shiny finish to it. It allows me to leave it. I don't need to top coat it afterwards. So I want that matte and top difference in the whole overall design. So we're going to come back in with our white, which is going to be the whip, and then we're going to create a little bit of extra shadow. So we're just going to add the white highlight around the top. So we've already got that beautiful turquoisey colour. We don't want to lose it. So you can see how I'm pressing down my brush into the top. We can add a little bit of the shadow with this blue. You see how I'm blending that in like that. So that nice turquoise colour still shows through. And we've got that matte and glossy finish. We've got the difference between the two. And we're going to actually add a little bit of sparkle on the top of this as like glitter. We're going to do that right at the very end. I'm going to do 2 cherries. Now a cherry is not completely round. A cherry has a little heart shape. We're just going to come around like this, but it's like a rounded heart. There's one. And we're going to do another one here. So I'm just going to get my cherry, and then I use my creative eye to get the position right. So we just want to raise this bit up ever so slightly so that the stalk comes out like that. It gives us that nice cherry shape. There we go. Okay, so now we're just going to go back in with the red again. And then we're going to add some highlights. And the reason why I'm layering this is so that when we add the white to it, it sort of bleeds into the red a little bit. My brush is not behaving. There we go. So now I'm just going to use a thinner brush. And this is just going to go in the green to create our stalk. We don't want too thick a stalk. One thing I was going to do was actually add some little beads of, what are they called? Those little things that you add on, like little round sugar balls. I can't remember what they're called. I'm just going to add some tiny little ones on the top here. What are they called, those things? You're shouting at me now, I know you are. So added those, and then the last little bit that we're going to do is we're going to add some glitter. Now there's two ways that we can do this. We can do this with a glossy top coat, which has no inhibition layer, or we can use the white. Now the problem with using the white is that we would cover any of the artwork that we do. So I'm going to opt for the glossy top coat. I'm just going to put a little bit onto my palette. I'm just going to place the glitter where I want it to go. I'm just going to do a little bit at the top, just in line. So all of this here has no inhibition layer because we've only used the Legrand. So it's all been cured with no inhibition layer. So we're just going to go all the way underneath like that. I'm just going to actually do this over the top of the pot, but you can do it over the, I'm sure you guys have dishes and things. Once that's drizzled on there, we'll put that straight underneath the lamp again. The reveal with the little glitter and whatever those little foodie things are that you sprinkle. Sprinkles! Sprinkles! There you have your finished cupcake. You can have little strawberries. You can have, we've got a little cheesecakey Victoria sponge going on. And we have some macaroons. Those are super easy to make, especially if you've got the right colorings. So cherries and strawberries are super easy to do, and they're probably the best. But I have done a tiny little wafer in there for Valentine's. So there you have the cake shop. It's not a cake shop, but it's the cakes that are in the cake shop. I hope you enjoyed this lesson.